Morning traders, how's it going? My name's Chris. You're watching Auto Block Assassin. And today we're going to be looking over some charts. I want to take people right back. I want to show you what to do from step one. Teach you how to take a look at the market overall and have a really solid plan of exactly what you want to do every time you jump on the charts. Just give me 1 second. I'm just updating my titles. Alright, it's done. So, I've seen a lot of charts lately from a lot of up-and-coming traders who have joined our platform, done the training, and they're starting to share their charts. I've had a few conversations with a few of you, one-on-one over Discord, and I've been seeing a lot of mistakes that I used to make in my charting when I first started. And that's great. It's great because I can identify them for you. I can see what you're doing wrong because I too did them wrong. A lot of the questions come from, how do I know what to do? How do I know where the market's going to go? Well, I mean, I don't. I really don't. I don't know where the market's going to go. So how do I make a better decision? How is it that I seem to be right all the time? Well, I'm not right all the time. But I am right more than I'm wrong, and that's all you need to be in this game. You need to be right more than you're wrong. So how do we do that? How do we get a really solid idea of where the market's going? Well, it all starts with the market leader. And this is just for crypto. You can use supply and demand concepts on any type of thing you can trade. Any type of thing. We have people who use this in Forex. We have people that use this in stocks. Once I'm bored of crypto trading, I'll be taking these same concepts. I'll be taking everything that I've learned and I'll be moving over to Forex. Not moving away from crypto, but if the market does die down here and things don't move as long as much in the future, I'll take what I've learned and I'll do it on Forex. No problem. So this works in all markets, but in the crypto market, we have one leading coin. One coin that seems to pave the way that all the other coins will follow, and that is Bitcoin. Of course that is Bitcoin. So the first thing that we need to do when we're looking, when we're trying to figure out where we are and where we want to go, is we look at Bitcoin. So let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. I'm going to start with a very clean, fresh chart. I'm going to show you guys what I do from the start. This is step one every day of what you need to do when you wake up or you come home and you're ready to start charting. This is what you got to do. And when we talk about charting too, if you want to be a better trader, if you want to make money, you need to chart. That's it. You need to chart. And you need to do this a lot. The more time you get in front of the charts, the better trader you'll become. I didn't believe it at first either. But time in front of the charts is what separates all of us from just beginners to amateurs to professionals. And with practice, you'll get better. Absolutely, you'll get better. So today, if you're just watching this from the start, this is a perfect stream for you to be viewing. If you're watching this on the replay, do let me know. Let me know if you're on YouTube. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment. This is a perfect stream for you to start with because you're going to see from the very start how we draw up a chart. And no, we don't use any indicators. Although I would like to actually code up an indicator to show, to be able to easily chart up some of the things that I show you. So I'm working on that. I'm talking with my trainer Nick to see if he's interested in becoming a part of that. And maybe we can release a set of indicators that do everything that we do. Maybe we'll work on that. But for now, we don't use any indicators at all. Everything we do is just looking at the chart and looking at the price action. And I'm going to show you how. So let's take a look. All right. So this is my Bitcoin chart. I'm just going to delete everything. Because if you're new, if you're watching this, if you've got no idea what I've been talking about the past few streams, this is all going to seem extremely messy and confusing. And honestly, a lot of these boxes here, they've passed. They're no longer valid. So we'll start with a clean, fresh chart. Nothing on here at all. No lines, no boxes, no nothing. This is done. This is it. This is raw. Now, if you are new to trading, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see some new traders here coming in to see what this is all about. All right, so let's talk about what a chart is. What is a chart, right? It's data. That's all it is. This is just raw data. And there are many different ways that you can interpret this data. A lot of people have a lot of different systems, right? And I'm not going to shit on all of the systems. I am part of a group, they're called the 618 Assassins, and they use indicators. Predominantly they use the Ichimoto cloud. And they've got a system around that, a system that they like to use that works for them. It increases their win rate. I didn't like that way that I didn't like the system. It didn't work for me. It probably would have if I stuck to it, but it didn't feel good for me. I needed more of I needed a way to more conceptually visualize what was actually going on in the charts. And I tried so many different systems to try and find the one that worked for me. And supply and demand was it. It was the thing that made it sort of put a light bulb in my mind. It finally made the charts make sense to me. So that's why I like supply and demand. But all these different systems, all these ways, they are just languages to read the chart. And once you've figured out which one you like the most, well, you just got to know, you got to practice that language over and over and over again until the charts speak to you. So that's what I feel it comes down to when we're looking at charts, when we're looking at systems. But every system is valid as long as it increases your win rate and as long as you can stick to your rules, okay? That's the most important thing. It's not what system do you use, it's how effective are you at that system. And why I love supply and demand is because, well, it shows you the underlying game that's getting played on the charts and allows you to participate in the winning side of the game. You can pick your team. You can pick the team based on the performance. And what does that mean? Well, there's a war going on these charts. There's a game getting played. And the only winners are the ones who have the big bags. And the losers, well, that's all of us. This is a game getting played. It's retail traders versus smart money. And when I say smart money, I don't just mean smart people. Smart money, it's a concept that means anybody who's got enough of a big bag to trade that it actually makes these candles move up and down. And they do exist. They are out there. People with big bags of investment money. People with hedge funds. People who have millions of dollars. They do come on here and they do trade. And they're the ones who move the candles. Some of them know exactly what they're doing. Some of them, as we've seen from places like Alameda Research, they had no idea what they were doing. Ridiculously bad traders. But make no mistake, they impact the chart. And with supply and demand, we are using footprints that they leave behind to tell us when they have been involved in a trade and where they're going to take it to. And we ride like a surfer. We ride that wave all the way up and down. So, what I like to do when I start my Bitcoin chart is we bring it back. Bring it right back. Take a look at a high time frame. So take a look at the daily. You can even look at the weekly. You can even look at the monthly. In fact, if you've never looked at these, start there. Start there. What does this tell us? Where are we? I'm not going to remove these two boxes that I put down here, simply because those are high time frame, i.e. dailies, weekly, monthly time frame, areas of interest that I think the price is going to go to. It's looking, if you look at the monthly chart, it's looking very likely, very, very likely that we're going to test the 13,000 mark. And we may even test the 10,000 mark. If we break 10,000, oh my God, it's not going to look good for anyone holding Bitcoin or any crypto. Alarm bells are going to be going off. Everyone's going to be shorting. So we don't want that. If it does hit the 10K mark, which it could, let's just hope that we hit a nice big bounce from here, which is possible. All right. But how did I get these areas? So I think, well, looking at the chart here, and this chart, this Bitcoin chart, this monthly chart, it looks a lot like what you might see from a lot of other coins. A lot of coins have this exact same sort of an M pattern over the course of their life. A lot of them. It's surprising how many do. Initial interest comes in. price dips, but interest pushes it back up again, and then, well, interest kind of fades. It's the nature of crypto. Other commodities don't really do this. It's important for us to identify these patterns so that we understand crypto. If we're going to trade it, we've got to understand it, not what it does. We don't need to understand the technology behind it. We don't need to worry about what all these new coins do. We're not caring about that. We're caring about what the supply and what the demand does. And this chart represents people, their behavior, what they do, how they buy and sell. That's what we're looking at. All right. If you look at the weekly here, it's giving us a bit more detail about what actually happened. And given the weekly here, we can see we are stepping down, not showing any signs of stopping right now. We've had moments where we've come up for sure, but every time we've had a swing failure and we've failed to reach a new high. At a smaller scale, the smaller time frames, you're going to see that we have had moments where we had higher highs and higher lows. But at key moments, at these key high time frame moments, we've had swing failures. So it only goes to reason that soon we're going to be testing this 13,000 mark. Unless we see a massive reaction of some sort of a price up here, we're going to be testing. And I don't see any points on this chart that are showing me that we've had any type of reaction. So I'm a bit concerned. Now look at the daily. Now here's where you can start to see why I've drawn out these particular areas of interest. The bottom level of interest at the 10K mark, this is the first time, once Bitcoin had established its structure, this is the first time we saw some bullish moves up. So this has left behind here a massive big demand zone. What is a demand zone? A demand zone is where people are demanding to buy the commodity at that price. Price is left. Once the price is left, people want to buy it at this price. All the orders that were in here when the price moved up, they stayed there. If you had an order at 10,000 and it didn't get filled because the price moved up too fast, well, the order still stays there in the system. There would be some traders with big bags who would probably still have a fair amount of orders here, and there'd be a lot of supply and demand traders who have identified, and even people who don't do supply and demand, even traders who use support resistant ideas will be looking at this area here and thinking this will be where the bounce will happen. This will be where I put my long. Does this mean Bitcoin will bounce off here to new highs? I don't know. I don't know about that. All I can tell you is Bitcoin is likely to have a bounce here. So I'll have a trade there. It won't be a huge, ginormous trade to the top of the chart. No, that would be silly. But I'll be looking at this area for a bounce. And then this area here is kind of like, it's the last demand zone left that hasn't been destroyed by these candles over here. When these candles are coming down, we have these historic zones of supply or demand. In this case, demand. Sorry. Demand in this case. These candles are coming down and they're taking liquidity. Liquidity are orders. Orders that people have put at these levels. And they're just taking the orders. They're just changing liquidity from one coin to another, depending on if they want to get out of Bitcoin or they want to take it along with Bitcoin. They're buying your orders. They're buying your stops. So these are the levels here that I'm thinking Bitcoin's going to have a bit of a bounce here. Could it bounce to a higher high? Probably not, but it could, and I hope that it does. But probably not. Not from what I'm seeing. It's looking pretty nastily bearish. So I start on the monthly. I go to the weekly. We have a look at the daily, and we identify these levels. Now it's time for me to go down to the 4 hours. 4 hours is where I love to trade. That's my thing. I seem to work better. I've tried the 15-minute, and it's just not consistent enough for me. I like the 4 hour, and I like the 1 hour. But I always will take a gander at the 8 hour just to confirm what I'm thinking is happening. And we can see here we have had some structure over here. So we're sort of sitting in this structure right now. That's where we're sitting. We're taking all the orders from this structure. And we have sat there since November 9th up until now, January 23. You can see from Bitcoin likes to range. And it ranges in a structure for quite some time before the market decides to take it up or take it down. We can use this to our advantage because we know Bitcoin likes to range, when it hits the top of its range, we can take a short. When it's at the bottom of its range, we can take a long. And if you look at the structure, if we did that every time it was at the top, and we did it long every time it was at the bottom, we would make money. We would win more than 50% of our trades just by doing that alone. And that is all you need. That is all you need to win. If you're like me and you trade with smart money, what we like to do is have a nice big long trade on. Sorry, I won't say the word long. I didn't mean take a long. All right, we like to have a big, wide, high time frame trade on. So we target the tops and the bottoms of the structure. Now, once our trade is in, and we know, like, if the prices come up to the top, and we know it's broken here, it's reached the top of its structure, we know it's going down from here, we'll take the trade. And as the price goes down, well, we take smaller trades, smaller stop losses where we can, with higher rewards, and we trade that all the way down. So we'll have one big trade on and lots of small trades. So there's times, maybe days, maybe a week, when we might not even have a single Bitcoin trade on. But when the time comes, we could have 4 or 5 different Bitcoin trades on, trading very quickly in some cases. Gives us time to go and live and enjoy our lives, right? So that's a high level for Bitcoin for now. We've looked at the monthly, we've looked at the weekly, we've looked at the daily. Haven't drawn anything on my chart yet. But I can see here, if we look at the bottoms of the current structure, the very bottom, we are talking about this structure here, to the left. This historical data here is what is building the structure over here to the right. What do we have when we look closely at this historical data? We have price coming up into this area, price coming down, creating, actually you can see there, if you look really closely, there was an imbalance. Now, if you don't know what an imbalance is, it's okay. You can do some reading, but a way to identify an imbalance is when the price comes up and leaves behind. So you can see here, this candle has come up. This particular candle here came up through there, stopped and went down, and formed a new candle. See, when price is not imbalanced, candles are coming up and wiping out the area that they came up. When this comes up and it doesn't wipe down the full way down this candle, well, there's an imbalance. So you could say, it's better if I draw these out. There's an imbalance there and there. We have an imbalance here and here. That's an imbalance. We have an imbalance here and here. See how this candle has gone up, but this next candle didn't come the full way down the candle? That's left an imbalance there. And one of the things we know about the nature of price is that imbalances like to get filled. So you can see here, we had a big push up, leaving behind a demand zone down here. Didn't get touched again, but the imbalance that was left behind had its liquidity taken out, forming a bigger demand zone right here, and a new structure above it. So we are currently in this demand zone. We're trading in this demand zone in Bitcoin. If this demand zone gets invalidated, we'll be trading in the one below. If you're worried about Bitcoin suddenly dropping to zero, it's not going to happen. It's not just going to drop through zero. It's got to get through this demand zone, and then it's going to get through this one. And there's a lot of people with a lot of big bags who are not going to let that happen. So that kind of thing, like now with this knowledge, you can have a pretty firm prediction of what might happen. Now, it could be that the price zooms past this demand zone and goes and tests 10K. It could be, but I highly doubt that will happen. I really think that if we do slip through this one, we'll have a new structure forming here. Maybe this new structure will start here and test the 10K. That could definitely happen. But for now, let's not worry about that too much. So since June, we've been in this long structure. This structure is from up here down to here. That was the June structure. And we broke through that. Unfortunately, we broke through that. We had a swing failure here and broke right through the structure. So that structure is invalid now. And in this new structure, whoops, I don't want that. In this new structure that we have, and we've had this structure since November. We even tested the lows of the previous structure up here. All right, I'm going to delete this. I don't need this anymore. We're just going to look at this current structure that we're in. Now we know where we're going. We know we're likely to break south of this structure. We're likely to go and test further down. I don't see any news in the market that new investors are suddenly jumping in on Bitcoin. It's nothing like that. In fact, I'm hearing more and more of people moving away from crypto. We're not in a bullish run yet. But, the story's not over yet, right? But I'm not expecting Bitcoin to go testing higher highs. Unless this chart starts telling me, hey, there's some interesting stuff happening. I'm not yet ready to say we're going to test higher highs. I'm thinking we're going to test lower prices first. So my view, high time frame level of this structure is that this is eventually maybe going to retest the highs again, but eventually we're going to go down. We're going to go south at a high time frame. That's my bias. However, where the structure currently is, well, that's a bit different. So my high time frame bias, when we're talking days or weeks, is that eventually I think we're going to see lower prices. That's my high time frame bias. Where am I in my low time frame bias? Let's have a look at how I figure that out now. All right. So this structure from November up until today, this is the current structure we're in. If we're trading within this zone here. We're looking for opportunities to make money in this zone here. And the first step we have to do is identify on this particular chart, on Bitcoin only, what is a premium price and what is a discounted price. This is step number one for finding what you want to do today. Where should you be trading? And the way I like to figure out what is a premium price is I use my ruler. I take the price at the top of the chart and I take the price at the bottom of the chart. I take a line and I draw a line right dead smack through the middle. That is my discount line. Everything above this is premium. Everything below this is discount. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. How do I know where I take my longs from? I only take longs at at discounted prices down here. How do I know where I take a short from? Well, I only take shorts from premium prices up here. And I like to take it a step further. So I take an additional line from the middle line down to the bottom. This gives me a second discount line. Prices here below this line are at an ultra discount. Whereas prices above this line, but still below the midline, well, they're at a slight discount. And I draw another one at the top. Come on. Click. Sorry, I'm using my laptop. I'm using a trackpad. I would usually use a mouse, but whoops. Using a trackpad for my streaming, just the way that I've got my streaming room set up. Alright. So, now we have a premium line. Everything above this line is ultra premium. Everything below, it's kind of premium. So that's where we figure out where we would want to be taking longs from. Now that we know where we want longs and shorts from, I like to draw up some squares. This is where the squares come in for me. Where are the zones that are feeding these pushes ups, that doesn't make sense. These rallies. Rallies? Yeah, rallies up. What is feeding them? What is feeding these drops? What is feeding the drops? So we must have some supply demand up here. some zones of supply that are feeding this drop. And oppositely, must have some zones down here, some demand zones that are feeding these pushes, right? And we get those, if there's nothing here to show us exactly where these zones are, we get these zones from our history over here. Right? That's what it comes down to. But probably don't even need them this time. I can probably figure them out just by looking at this chart. So we're currently looking at the 8 hour. Let's take a look at the 4 hour, my favorite time. All right. When price started to create this new structure, it was pretty horrific. There were a lot of stops taken. How do I know this? Because this candle came all the way down here and all the way back up. A lot of retailers lost a lot of money. When we're looking at a bearish structure, we look for an order block. And there is one right here. It is a bearish order block. How do I know that? Because it's the last up candle before a downward turn. So we have this massive big demand zone right here. That's what's feeding this. You can see the demand zone. We can see the prices come into it once, twice, and every time it came back into it, it went deeper into the zone. So that tells you the demand zone down there could be getting weaker perhaps. That could be a sign that perhaps price might test a higher price because this one is slightly higher than this one. It could be. It could be. Anything's a possibility. But what you might see over time with these kind of zones, as you map them out, is the candles come into it less and less and less. And that would indicate that more and more orders are getting put up here. And that resistance is getting stronger. But what we do find usually over time, usually with supply and demand, is pretty evident that resistance and support become lower over time as liquidity comes and drains all those orders. Usually. All right, now at the bottom here, we don't really see a really big demand structure there. But over here to our left, we can probably find it. So looking for something at the bottom of the range to indicate some sort of bullish order block. And we can see there is a massive candle right here at the 4 hour level. So does that candle correlate to the structure that we're seeing over here? Let's take a look. Let me drag that out. That's probably not quite the candle. Oh, probably not quite the candle. Ah, bugger off. Although it's pretty close to it. But I think the one that we're reacting off right now is this one right here, which is slightly higher and could have also been reacted off before. Let's draw that out. Taking a section of the last down candles here before a massive upswing. And you can see here, it's already pretty much been tapped into before to bounce off. So this is a pretty strong level, honestly, actually. Much better level than below because we've already had a price reaction showing us this level exists. Where does this level take us? And hey guys, if you've got any questions along the way, you can drop your questions in the chat here, or you can drop your questions in Discord. I will see them. Yeah, this looks like a better zone. Price is definitely going under it. So is there anything over here that I can see? Could be actually reacting here. We could even be taking this whole thing. Let's have a look at the 8 hour. Just to try and get a good idea of what's going on. Oh, come on. Because the higher time frame you go, the better the data is. And I actually think at a high time frame, this is a much better data there. even though we didn't bounce off it yet. High time frame always trumps low time frame. Yeah, that's it there. That's the bit we're reacting off for sure. Okay. So now we have our highs and our lows. What do we do? Where do we go from here? Well, it's easy if Bitcoin is at a price where you're at the lowest. It's easy to figure out what to do because you go long. So once price came into here and reacted off this level here and started forming a new structure, the next time it hits, well, me, myself, and a whole bunch of other guys in our crypto trading group, well, we went long. We went long from here and we got some great trades. When Bitcoin was sitting in this price range here, well, I knew this price range was premium because it's above the 50% line. I knew it. But I wasn't 100% confident in these trades because it wasn't up here in the top premium price. So yes, I did take some shorts here. There were small shorts I took along the way, but they were more risky. I understood that they were more risky. I understood the risk, and I did expect it. Once I identified the correct order block here, I did expect it to bounce through, so I luckily didn't get my stops taken here. Had a really good week that week. I thought price would come up, and it did. So once price came up into here, what did we do? Well, we shorted again, all the way down to here. Now price is in this 50% zone. We do not trade any coin when the price is at 50% of its range. Why? Because it's so wishy-washy. Look at this candle here. That would wick you out for sure. Same with these top ones. There is more volatility around the 50% mark. It's less likely for you to easily figure out which direction you want to go in. Because, you know, at this level here, price could go either way. But what I am seeing with Bitcoin right now, and the reason why I am currently at a low time frame bullish on Bitcoin is simply because prices had higher highs coming through here and higher lows, and we have broken free of this structure right here. It's broken, and it's been double confirmed broken here. We've broken the structure. We now have bullish order blocks. Where you would take, well, where it's going to actually bounce from, you can figure that out. Take a fib from the bottom to the top. Now, this isn't going to always happen, okay? But anywhere between the 60 to 70% mark of this run is somewhere you might consider taking a long. Well, okay. Don't take a long here. Okay, this is a bad example of where to take a long. I'm not saying take a long because it's at the 50% mark, so we don't trade. But what I wanted to show you was where we could figure out if it's likely to bounce up, where it would come from. Anywhere between the 50 to 70% mark is where a price might retrace to. So this zone here. Anywhere in this area here, price could retrace, and it already did. Price came back up into this structure. It broke free of the structure here, and it came back down, and it took liquidity from this zone here. And it bounced back up. Did I take a long there? Absolutely not. We're trading at 50% of the mark. We don't take longs there. But you can use these tools to figure out where the price may bounce from, so it can help you with other coins. Right? So I am bullish on Bitcoin at a low time frame. At the 4-hour time frame and lower, I am bullish. I think, and when I say bullish, I'm not saying we're going to reach new highs. Absolutely not. That'd be crazy. I'm just trying to highlight this area to you. But because we've broken there, I think perhaps once we've retraced, maybe we don't need one. But once we have retraced, maybe we will see Bitcoin coming and testing these higher highs up here. What will I do? If Bitcoin does test these prices, I'll short. I will definitely short. I don't feel like Bitcoin's going to be testing higher highs. This zone here that I've drawn will be my first area of interest. Why? Because it's the last up candle before a downward move. This is a bearish order block. And this whole candle here, this whole red candle, that is a supply zone. That's a big supply zone. In fact, let's get rid of this now. Actually, let's not get rid of it. Let's just put it there because it exists. This red candle here is a supply zone. What does it mean? It means the price came up and a bunch of people put sell orders right here. They got all excited. Oh, hey Fred, how's it going? They got all excited. They put their orders in and the price dropped, but a lot of the people didn't get to sell. They didn't get their sell orders executed because the price dropped too quickly. Those sell orders are still sitting in the exchange. And even if they're not, the history is here. This candle is here. So when the price comes back up, other people are going to be like, oh, you know what? That's a good price. I'm out. I'm selling. This becomes a supply zone. There's a lot of things. Bitcoin's up here. People want to sell for that price. There's a big supply. When there's a big supply zone, it means the price is going to come up and probably not be able to sell the whole thing. Like you got a truckload of Bitcoin here that people want to sell for a very high price, the premium price. All right. And the truck has to be empty before the price goes up. That's how you can think of it. So I'm expecting the price to come up in here, test this zone here, and drop. Where would be a good place to pick up a retracement? When I say retracement, what does that mean? Well, it means where could we think the price could come up to? Usually with Bitcoin we see the tops getting tested, but one thing that could happen, if you take a fib from the bottom, the top of the structure, oops, no, other way around, if you take a fib from the top of the structure to the bottom, and if you need to, you can rewind this stream later on. It's on YouTube. It'll also be on. Oh, don't get close to the mic. Sorry about that, mate. If you want to see how I've done the fibs, you can replay this later on YouTube and on Twitch. All right, so we take this fib from the bottom to the top, and another zone that we'll be looking at will be somewhere between the 60 and 70% zone. So we could see price. This is a great little spot right here, between the 60 and 70%. Right there. There are two possibilities when the price comes up. Possibility number one. Oh, only joking. You're killing me here. My son's got COVID right now. He's upstairs. I could get it any day now. So, we could see price coming up to this 60 to 70% zone and fail and drop. But I'm not going to be putting my orders in just yet. When I put a box up here, this is just an area of interest. It doesn't mean I lock in a trade. This is just an area of interest. Price could come up, play around in here and drop, or it could come up, play around in here and go higher. I'm not expecting price to go any higher than the top of this chart. So let's look at the top now. What can we do here? What trades could we be making here? And let me just put an example trade down here. This is the way that I think. I like to target 50% of the whole entire block with my stop loss set 25% above the block, targeting the next structure. Okay, and I need to get a risk to reward ratio of 3 or above for this to be a valid trade. Alright, that's as far down as I want to bring my stop. Realistically, I don't want to bring my stop any further down because it increases my risk. But you can see here my risk to reward ratio is only 2.75 and my rules say I need 3. My rules say I don't take a trade unless I get 3 risk to reward ratio. So you could think, well, I'll bring my trade down here. Look, the risk to reward ratio is going up. But no, I'm going off the data that I have on this chart. And the structure that I have says we've hit a zone here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It's probably, the price is going to struggle to get from there through this zone. Sure, the price could easily quickly drop to a whole new low, but historically, it struggled to get from this zone here. I want to make sure with every single trade that I make that where the price is going to struggle, I get a risk to reward ratio of 3. Why? Because I can then take that trade. I can take this trade and I can make 3 times my money, even if the price doesn't skyrocket down. Or not skyrocket, fall off a cliff. If the price sort of sits here and plays in this zone for a while, I can take profits. I can take 3-to-1 profits. And that's what we need. That's what we need. I can watch the price, and if it does fall even lower, great, I win even more. But if it's 3-to-1 at this level here, I'm going to at least make 3-to-1 profits. And if my win rate is above 50%, and I'm winning trades that are 3-to-1, I'm in the money. So I don't want to reduce my stop loss, because that adds more risk. Instead, what I can do is change my entry point. I can get greedy with my entry point, and I can move it up. Sure, I might not get this trade. It might not trigger in. The price might come up here and it might fail to get me in. If you're in the Discord group that I'm in, you see my charts all the time, and sometimes that fails to happen. I don't get upset, because if my entry price was lower, well, my risk to reward ratio would be lower too, and it wouldn't be a valid trade. So we've now got a 3.64. I can probably even move my stop loss up a little bit to reduce my risk of hitting the stop loss. If my stop loss gets hit, I want it to mean that this idea was totally and completely wrong. I don't want to see the price come in, hit my stop loss, and then go down further. That'd be awful. That's the biggest thing I want to avoid. So I need my stop loss to be big enough to allow the market to breathe. But still, I need this trade to give me a 3-to-1. That looks good to me. That looks like a decent trade. Will I put that in the system? Oh, we'll get to Litecoin, buddy. I started this stream with the idea of taking a fresh chart from nothing to show people how I find my bias. Okay, so we're looking at how to find the bias first. And right now we're looking at where Bitcoin will be heading. So we're looking at shorts from the top of the charts, planning those out. Then we're going to actually have a look at where it's going to be heading the next day or so, and what we can do if we're not going to trade Bitcoin. So we'll come to that shortly, so just hold on a second. All right. The next idea, what we do at the top. If the price comes through here and busts through this zone here and hits the top, what do? Well, first of all, we wouldn't have had this trade on, because we're going to watch and see the price. We need the price to play in this zone for a bit. We need some structure to form before we put on our trade, unless we're completely and utterly confident that the price is going to come up here and fall. And you know what? With these retracements, when they're not at the top and the bottom of a price structure, I'm never completely confident, right? So I always want to wait for the price to come into this zone. And what I like to see to confirm my idea is the price come up, play in here, and then have a bearish move down. Just a little one. And from there, the price will come up to here again, take my order, and then drop. That's the Onyx way. That's how we do things. That's what we see that works. That's how we're so confident in our trades. All right. So let's just say the price comes through here. Well, yeah, I'll be first looking at this zone here. Why? Because we have the big blue candle here showing us the zone. But we can probably find a better entry on a smaller time frame. 4 hour doesn't really help in this one. 1 hour chart. Let's have a look. Oops, I didn't remove that. Yeah, we got a nice candle here in the 1 hour chart that we can actually look at. Don't know what that was the fib I removed there. I'll see if I can get rid of this. Get rid of that. This looks like a really nice candle here. In fact, this is perfect. This is a great entry. Why is this a great entry? Well, you can see smart money working. Prices come up. Prices form this big supply zone here. And this zone here has already been tapped into one time, confirming this is a liquidity zone. Alright, what we do here, we do a short. Targeting the next zone down. Right there. Can we get any further down than that? Maybe the bottom of this short. Oh, we're close. Maybe we can get a 3-to-1 right there. What I love about these trades at the very tops is you can take them all the way to the bottom. All right, so we've planned out what we want to do when the price comes up to the top of this chart. I'm going to get rid of my fib. What do we do right now? What do we do today? Well, we don't do anything on Bitcoin. Yes, we're bullish. We don't take a long. Remember, this is at 50% of the zone. What we can do though is we can look at other coins and we can figure out which of those other coins are tradable. All right. If I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but I don't want to trade in this zone, I'll be bullish on other coins. Let's take a look. You wanted to see a Litecoin? Yeah, that's a good choice for today. That's a very, very good choice for today. I'll show you why. Well, at least it was a good choice yesterday. Okay. Well, maybe I'm confusing myself here. Yeah, it was the other coins that were good coins. Litecoin. Okay, if I'm bullish on Bitcoin, then if Bitcoin does go up, then Litecoin's gonna come up. And I have two ideas ready to go. Idea number 1 and idea number 2. But I'm gonna wait and see on these ones. These are not in the system. These are not sitting there as trades in Bybit ready for me to take. Because if Bitcoin price does come up, right? If the price comes up to this zone here and plays around in here, this price here would probably come up and take my trade here. But I wouldn't be very confident in this trade. It is the top of the structure. But in the case of Litecoin, we also have this structure up here. This could also be the top of Litecoin structure. So if Bitcoin does take a big bullish move all the way to the top of the structure, chances are for Litecoin, I'm going to get this trade triggered in. And potentially, it could even test this zone up here. It could. It's possible. So with Litecoin, it's risky. It's risky. I want to see more data. I want to see more price movement before I make a decision. And honestly, I think this could be better here. That could be way safer. Same with this. Give myself some room. Lately, I've been setting my stop losses a little bit too tight. Trying to get a little bit more risk, a little bit more reward in, and that's something I need to work on. So yeah, with Litecoin, to wait and see. I know it looks like it's the top of the structure, but I don't think this is the true top yet. If Bitcoin is bullish and it moves up, I think we're going to see the actual top of the Litecoin structure. All right. Now I'm looking for bullish coins. What am I exactly looking for to confirm if I'll enter the trades? All right. Well, let's talk about Litecoin. So I had this idea for Litecoin that I want to take this trade, and it's like things have to occur in the right order for me to be interested, right? So if Litecoin suddenly comes up, in fact, let me draw this line again. If Litecoin suddenly comes up with a big bullish move up, which happens, I've seen this happen the last few days. Sometimes just an altcoin will just have a big bullish move, and it might take my trade. All right, I'm not entering that yet. I'm looking at this price structure that forms. If this is here and Bitcoin hasn't really moved up, then I will be expecting when Bitcoin does move up, that Litecoin will be moving up with it. But if Bitcoin drops from here, and I see that Litecoin drops a little bit, or like has a bearish move down, this bearish move down will create the structure we've been talking about earlier in this stream. It'll create an imbalance. And it will come and fill that imbalance, and that's where I'll be taking my trade from, because from there it'll go way down. What's an imbalance look like? I'll show you. We can show you right here. We talked about imbalances before. An imbalanced candle looks like this. Price came down, Price came back up and a little bit of the previous candle was filled, but there is a big imbalance right here. And charts love to fill those imbalances. And look at that. Price came up and filled that imbalance. So if I'm thinking this is a bearish zone here, and it does leave an imbalance that looks just like that, well, price is going to come up, fill that, and then drop further. That's the confirmation that I'm looking for. Sometimes the confirmations happen really quick. Sometimes they happen really slow. That's what we're going to be looking for. It might take you a little while for your eyes to get trained to see them, but that's what we're looking for. Those are the imbalances that we're looking for. All right, so another thing that I'll be looking at too, if the price is playing up in here and Bitcoin hasn't moved up yet at all, well, I'm probably not going to be considering this for a trade, even if we have a bearish move down. But if Bitcoin has moved up, so if we see Bitcoin start to move up to the top of its structure again, I'll be coming over to Litecoin. And hopefully I hope I'll be seeing Litecoin come, retest here, and then retest the top. If we see Litecoin retest the top, yeah, I'm in. I'm in for a short for sure. Depending, of course, on making sure that I'm looking for this price structure. Why? Because once Bitcoin drops, and it will drop from here, I'm very, very confident that we're going to see from either of these two zones a drop in price. When it does, if it does, hopefully, hopefully is not a good word to use for those who have big bags in Bitcoin, but when it does, I'm expecting Litecoin to follow suit and do the same. So what am I looking at for other coins like Link? I'm bullish on a small time frame for Bitcoin. So I'll be looking at coins like this that I can take up. And you can see there was a trade that I was in. For Link, I'm already out. I was out very quickly, took my trade, went up, and I took my profits. Sure, I would have loved for Litecoin to have reached my intended target with a 10 RR, but I'd set this very nicely to have a 3, or I got a close to a 3 from that. Yeah, I'll look at the DXY shortly. I got close to a 3 on that one. That was good enough for me for that. Why? Because I wasn't sure how far Bitcoin is going to be going up or when. At the time, we hadn't seen that confirmation for Bitcoin. We hadn't seen that break in structure. The second one. We'd only seen the first one. So I will be looking for another entry point for Link. I might take this exact same trade again, only I might move it up a little bit. I don't think Link's going to see this bottom. I think what will happen is Link will come down, pick up these prices, and I think Link will start its structure again. And the reason why I think that is because Link is in this very big long structure. And I hope for Link's sake that it doesn't break through here, but it could. It could break through here, and that would be very sad because there'd be a new lower structure forming for Link. And honestly though, I mean, this particular zone here that I've found, we've hit it once, hit it twice, 3 times, we hit it 4 times, and we've been stuck in this zone. We've only just got out of it. If price does come back down, I don't know how strong this zone's going to be. I don't know how long we're going to stay here. That's another thing to think about. Chili's was the other one that I was trying to get into. This trade did not make it. That was a bad trade. I did identify that this trade was bad. As soon as I put it on, I was like, oh, I don't actually like this trade at all. But I kept it on there as an example of what not to do. Why was this not a good idea? Well, I didn't pull a fib. I forgot. I got too excited on the day that I put it on. I didn't pull a fib, which is part of my process. All right. I should have pulled a fib. I identified a level here that I thought was a very good. What is this? A supply level. And I thought the price would come into the supply level. This breaker block right here. And because the price had come up through there, I thought we'd hit the breaker block and then we'd move up. But we didn't yet. What I should have done is taken my fib from the bottom to the top, and I should have been looking for the 60 to 70% retracement, which would have got me in for a long right there. But oh well, the more times I repeat this, the better I'm going to get. Which is why I'm here on Twitch, guys. I'm here to do my basics. That's why I'm here. show you guys the basics and repeat my basics over and over and over again until I do this like a robot. That's where we're going. So what could happen with chilies? Well, I actually at this point I think chilies could pick up my lower trade right here. I think we could retest these lower areas down here before we start a new chilies upswing towards the top of its structure. One of the other things that we do on this channel is we look at the DXY. What is this? This is the US dollar to something chart. I don't even know. Someone who knows could probably correct me on what this actually is. What does it mean? I do understand. It means as this price goes up, Bitcoin price goes down. As this price goes down, Bitcoin price goes up. It's got to do with where money is flowing, as far as I understand, which is not very much. Maybe someone who's listening can come and comment on what it actually means, and I'll be happy to teach everybody. But what I do know is this chart dictates to me my overall sentiment about crypto. And you can see here, well, if you were watching this channel from the start, I've been pretty spot on with my predictions. So we are testing this zone down here. I think we've hit this zone enough times. We've hit it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. I think this zone is about to break. And I think the price is going to test this area down here. Don't let that scare you. Lower prices on DXY means crypto prices go up. But I'm not very confident about getting below this zone here. It would be lovely if it did. But I feel like we're going to hit this zone and we're going to come up and maybe have a same high again. Maybe have an even high. Maybe. Don't know for sure, but I do know this line here is at the 618. Perfect area for a retracement, unfortunately. So that's why I think Bitcoin price will go up as this comes down. I'm feeling like it will. Bitcoin price will come up to the top of its range, and the DXY will be sitting at that point when it happens. DXY will be sitting right here in the zone here, and we're probably going to start to see a swing the DXY up, and we're probably going to start to see, where was it? Where's my Bitcoin price? Probably going to start to see the Bitcoin price then swing down to the bottom of a structure. And that'd be very, well, it won't be sad because it's what we're expecting. So traders like myself and you guys will hopefully make a ton of good money on those trades. It's just sad for crypto. Not that I care too much about the crypto market, to be honest, other than trading opportunities. All right. So any other opportunities here? What can we look at? Dot is breaking my heart. I really want Dot to succeed. But this is not looking like a healthy chart. To me, this looks like a falling knife. When we did have a moment of good structure, good trade, but then it's just stepping down and there's no knowing where it's going to stop because we don't have the historic data to tell us what's going to happen. There's just nothing. It's just falling into the abyss. Could we do a short? I'll take a look at Sol next. Yeah, good idea. Could we do a short? Well, look, in the past, when I was a less knowledgeable trader, I would absolutely say short this. This is a downward trend. Short the hell out of this, but there's no telling, guys, where the bounce is going to be. And that could easily take your stops. So it's a risky trade. I know it looks like the price is going to continue down, and it may do. But if you trade on this kind of trade, there's no data to tell you whether or not it's a good trade or not. It's really just a gamble. You could say that trends most likely continue. Yeah, that's a good argument. But still, it's a gamble. You don't know when to take your order off the table. And you don't know where the bounce is going to be. This is not good. This is a terrible situation to be in. So let's take a look at Sol. See, Sol's in my top 3 at the moment because I'm looking for a trade here. Damn, Sol, what happened? What a great week. So for me, we are above 50% of the range here. So we are in slightly premium prices for Sol. Am I taking a long? No. Not from here. It's not a discounted price. And you can see here, I think that I'm bullish on Sol. I think the price is going to come and test the top here. I hope it will. I've got two zones here. We could see the price fall from here or here. So how do we determine that? Take a fib, and hopefully I got my fib right. Fib from the bottom to the top. Oops. Other way around. Fib from the top to the bottom. All right. You can see here, I'd love to get a trade at the 88% retracement mark, but I've also got my box here at the 70%. Looking for short opportunities for Sol. Why? Because when the Bitcoin price bumps, you can see a sell around 17.1. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can too. But you can see here that I've been a little bit greedy with my entry point. I'll show you how I came to that. Look, it's been a long time since I looked at this Sol chart, so I can't remember why or how I came up with that. Ah, yeah, here we go. Actual data. Oops. We got this zone here. Now I've been pretty fluid with the red candles that I used. You could say that it was these two candles. Sorry, the blue candles. We're looking for the last up candles before a downward trend. Let's take a look at the 4 hour just to see. I know Nick lately has been finding a lot of good trades on the 2 hour. Me personally, I prefer the 4 hour. It just works better for me. This is the candle here that I based my idea off. So that is the last up candle before a bearish break-in structure, which was right here. Bearish break-in structure. So that's the supply zone there. So I'm taking my trade, and you know what? I can make this even better. That's a very, very high stop loss. I could bring that down to here quite comfortably. And my trade needs to be 3-to-1 at the nearest structure, which would be here, and it's not quite there. So this trade for me to be valid, I'd have to bring my entry price up. I need a 3. And I'm not going to take any risks by removing making my stop loss smaller. If I can get a 3 at the closest structure, I'm happy. Sure, again, this may not get triggered in. The price may just come up and not trigger my trade in. That's fine. I only want to be in trades where I get that 3-to-1. Got to stick to your rules. That's what gives you the edge. All right, now, if Sol comes down below this line here, this is probably the zone I'd be looking to take a long. We could see a retracement. Let's just see what we could expect if we retrace. Let me clean this up a bit too. Too many trades going on. Price comes from there. If price retraces from there, we'd want to be picking up. Yeah, that's the 50% zone. So we'd want to be taking a long from here. Bring that down there. So I would consider taking a long from here. If suddenly the market shifted for Sol, and not for Bitcoin, if the Sol market shifted, I'd be looking to take a long right here. Just below 60%. That'd be what I'd do. All right, but I am looking for coins that I can go long on today. And there probably won't be that many, to be honest. Yeah, my charts are messy. That's what happens when I talk to you guys. Mess up my charts. All right. Yeah, Tron, not quite in discounted prices. I wish I had got that, and I may have actually, if I look through my history. Getting a long done there, that would have been nice. But even then, That's not really even the bottom discounted prices. It's just a slight discount. Oops. Actual discounted prices for Tron haven't even been retested yet. They would be here. So Tron, yeah, nothing there that I want to trade right now. B&B, how we're looking. We're at the 50% zone. We've had some reasonable good long prices for B&B, but we haven't yet taken these stops out. We've had even lows right there, so we've got a bunch of stops. I'm expecting B&B to come and hit this bottom pretty hard. I think it's going to have a big sell, pick up all of these stops, and hopefully pick up a trade for me for a long. EOS. Bottom of its structure. It's a bottom of a bottom, so this is a really lovely discounted price. Is it going to crash through? Hard to say. I would think this particular zone here that I'd drawn up, I have a feeling that's already been mitigated by that candle and this candle coming up. So I think the price will move directly through here. Hopefully you could make along at the bottom. Yeah, I'm not feeling confident about EOS. OP, you can see here I have targeted this zone as a place to take a short. Would I take that short? Not at the moment, because I am feeling somewhat confident in the bullish run for Bitcoin. I think it could go straight through here and hit the top of the structure where I have an idea here for a short. So I'll be looking out for this idea here. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that. I don't want to take that anymore. You can see here the shorts, the places that I identified last few streams. Well, the price came right back through them, just as I predicted. This stuff does work. Unify, bottom of its structure. You could look for some long entries here. In fact, I probably would. This is looking pretty tasty, honestly. We've got middle of the structure right here, so anything below there is still at a discount. Oops. Oi, straighten up. There you go. And we've had some bullish moves up. Unify, that's a massive candle. It's a huge candle. Where would I be looking at for Unify? Well, do what I should be doing this whole time, draw a fib. Well, sure, we'll look at XRP next. Yeah, I like this zone right here. 60% retracement. Around here, we've had a break in structure. We've even had this zone be retested. So this zone came in. I'll show you what I mean. So we've got this zone here. We had a retest, so this candle came down to take more liquidity from this zone. Came up. It's been hit again. So this zone is definitely a zone we're interested in. We haven't yet had the bullish move up. We could get lucky. We could get lucky here. This is a pretty good idea. I like it. This might be a position I take as well. Give myself some breathing room. We're likely to get to the top of this. Probably going to get to there easily. This structure here over here to the left. For a 4.27. I like that. This one's staying. I'm putting that up the top of my list. XRP. I'm pretty sure XRP was looking pretty dismal. Look at that marvelous trade there. Damn, that would have been great. If I had been paying attention. Yeah, I only target coins in the top 20 of volume on the Coinbase, which does change. So that's why I got this open. Sorry, CoinMarketCap. Whatever website you use. We're looking for anything in the top 20. So anything here is... Oh, the sandbox. Haven't seen that one up there. Anything here is tradable. Why? Because smart money is more likely to be trading in them. All right, so for XRP, I mean, this trade, I didn't get in on this one. I should have. I wish I did, but it is what it is. This is the zone down here that I am looking at. This zone here has been hit once, twice, 3 times, now 4 times. I don't feel very confident in this one anymore. It's scaring me. Like, that was a nice trade that I took there. That was a very nice smart money candle that came down, picked up my trade and took it up. But it's been hit a few times. I don't see a big reaction of this last time that the order block was hit. I don't think it's going to survive another onslaught. We've got lower highs, lower lows. I feel like the price is going to come down here again. And I feel like it could test it. Now, what could happen, of course, is price could come down, pick up a trade, and with Bitcoin, if it does pump, it could bring it all the way back up. And that would be a really great thing to happen. Would I take this trade again? Maybe. Not this one here, not this 1 hour order block. That is mitigated, that's gone. Okay, what we do have though, is we do have a series. And this is something that you do need to consider if you're doing smart money trading. We have stops sitting under there, pushing this structure up. And we also have stops sitting right there. When the price came down into this area, we have people looking over here and saying, you know what, there's a high bit of structure here. I'm going to put my stops here too. So we have stops below this area. Anyone wanting to exchange their XRP or anyone wanting to get in, they're going to come in and bring this price down, break through this structure to pick up those stops. And that's what scares me. Because then the structure is broken and we might see lower prices. But I would watch this space. And if we see the price come and do, where's my line? If we see this happening in the next couple of hours or days, if I see that, yeah, I'm taking that trade. If I see that bullish move up from that zone. ETC, yeah, that did look good. I missed that one. Missed that. That would have been great. Oh yeah, we'll look at ETH, of course. When we talk about the coins that lead the charts, the coins that tell us where the charts are going, of course it's Bitcoin, but secondly, it's ETH. And these are the ideas that I have for ETH. I don't know which one I'd take, but I do want to try and get ETH at the top of the range, for sure. Most likely, I'll be taking this top idea. I like it from there. Both of them are above a 3, both very valid trades. I'd love to take these and take these down to the bottom. So if we could take this all the way to the bottom of the structure, which would be great, looking at about an 8. Fantastic. Now, for these bigger coins, like if we eat the Bitcoin, once I get in on these trades, I don't just sit there and watch them. Well, I do. But I'm also taking smaller trades all the way down, using the 1 hour and the 15-minute charts. Once I'm in on a trade and I know that it's heading in the right direction and I'm feeling confident, that's when I'll be taking smaller trades. And you can make a lot more money doing it that way. All right. I think we've done enough today. I think we talked about the basics and went into a lot of detail. And we've looked at some of the biggest coins out there. I think that's it for me today. So my thing is, I'm just waiting for Bitcoin to decide if it's bullish or not. That's what I'm doing today. I'm just sitting back and waiting. I do find that we probably will get some movement tonight. It's Sunday here in Australia, but Sunday night we sometimes do see some moves. So I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. And I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow for a new fresh week, and we'll see what we can find. Good luck in your trades, guys. Have a great day. And I'll see you later.